What's going on, everybody?
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Welcome to another workshop. We do these every single month and share the highs, the lows, all the goods of our business to help you guys out and grow your net worth through assisted living. So we're excited to have you guys here. Throw in the comments, where are you all from? Do you have an assisted living? Is this a project you are working on? Is this a new goal or a dream? And today we're talking about how to find investors, right? It's part of our raising money framework. We think that these are life-changing opportunities. These are amazing, massive deals that you could do. And there's just a couple things stopping you, right? A few little details in the way.
It's not little, it's kind of big.
You know, sometimes a couple $1 million. But we can get over that hill, right? We can get a couple $1 million. That's actually not that difficult. And so we're going to be breaking that down tonight. How do you get this money, right? Because honestly, you don't have to come up with several $1 million, right? The bank's going to come up with most of that. How do you get the smaller amount of money, the 10, 15, 20% of money, right?
Yeah.
That's not that hard.
I think this was something that was kind of a roadblock, or I think a mental block, to be honest, in my mind when we first started doing this. I wasn't really good at talking about numbers and finances and putting deals together and creative financing, and I didn't know any of the terms and the jargon that everyone throws out all the time. I just knew that I liked talking to people and I liked meeting people. And so I think that no matter what your skill set is, if you're great with people, you're great with numbers, or whatever it may be, you can utilize your skill set toward this. And so we will give you some, I guess, tactical ways to go about raising money and really sharing your deal with people, because I do think that this is an opportunity that a lot of people are looking for to put money into. And a lot of people have money just sitting there not doing anything. And so they're looking for an opportunity like this. So we will share some tidbits of information on how we share that.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to break this down tonight. And again, if you have not been on our free trainings, there is a 26-session training on funding. A lot of it goes into raising money from investors. And I believe I think my full presentation is literally there. Exactly what I say to investors. It's recorded. It's there. It's like 40 minutes or something like that. But all that to be said, we are here to share the goods, and we don't really hold anything back. We are coming at you every single month. Put in the comments below, what kind of workshops do you want us to do in the future? We already have next month booked out, but let us know what you want to hear and see, and we're happy to talk through these things. So we're going to kick off tonight, and really I want to share some of our project because we raised money for this project, and I want to show you all what we raised money for. So here is our neighborhood. This is technically half of our neighborhood. This is our 7.6 acre project. And these two buildings are now done. Landscaping is going in, and then it is done. We have ribbon cutting, grand opening in like 2 weeks. So you can reach out. We have some posts on there if anybody wants to come by. But we build these neighborhoods of assisted living mansions. Each building here is 10,000 square feet, 16 private rooms. They all are fully ADA compliant, but you can see here's our great room. They're gorgeous. You can see a little bit on the right side, right? Window wall up to 16 feet high, all glass. And just most gorgeous building here. Laura has designed these things. We have some really custom things in here. Like this is our library, and it kind of has this old school speakeasy vibe that she designed with these really awesome high-backed leather chairs. So I'm encouraging you all to do a huge life-changing deal, something that makes $500,000 a year, that literally builds millions of dollars in wealth. And we have become multimillionaires in this space. We came from real estate. We flipped lots and lots of houses, had a bunch of rental properties, and never became really super wealthy in that space. We had to transition and get into the assisted living game. And man, nobody told me that you could do it in this way. So I want to talk to you about really having an amazing deal. And that is the most important part. That is the prerequisite to raising money, because no one wants to hear about your crappy little deal. But if you come with, here's a multi-million-dollar deal and we're building something awesome like this, right? And it has these just gorgeous building and you're building at a discount and you have so much equity going into something like this, man, this is something that gets people excited. So let's break this down today. Let's talk about some of these different things of ultimately what we're going to talk about today.
Well, before you get started, I want to kind of restate what you just said. We didn't come from real estate. We came from nothing, actually. So I just wanted to make that clear. We graduated from college and were servers at restaurants, had no experience in any form of real estate or raising money or any of that stuff. So I just wanted to make that clear that if you're in that same spot, welcome to the club. Like, you can be a multimillionaire through investing in assisted living as well. And so I just wanted to just bring it back down to the ground level here, that we came from nothing. And if you're there, welcome, and we can help you get there.
That's right. All right. So let's kick off here. We're going to talk about the two things that you need to raise money. First and foremost is a great deal. And I think this is the most important part. You can have the most gorgeous business plan and have experience as, a caregiver or a nurse or a doctor, and you can bring to me a beautiful new construction 6-bed RAL, and I will look at you and laugh, and I'll tell you that's crap. Get it off my out of here. I don't want to invest in your stinky little deal. If you have a small deal, if you have something that a lot of people are doing, honestly, and more power to them. I just want to guide them in a better direction. The 6, the 8, the 10 beds, man, like the home conversions, you can do better than that. And most of the time, people start small because they think they cannot do a bigger deal. And a lot of times people think they cannot do a bigger deal because they're not rich. They don't have millions of dollars sitting in the bank. Man, I can tell you from many experience and teaming up with a lot of different people, you don't have to be rich to do this kind of deal. You just have to know the steps. And that's what we're going to break down tonight. There is a good amount of different things you got to learn and get into. One of the important ones is the funding. How do you get, say, $3 million to do a huge mansion like this, right? The bank is going to come in and they're going to give you $2.5 million. How do you come up with the rest, right? How do you come up with $500,000 from investors? Maybe sometimes even our teams come up with, $300,000 to do one deal. Some of our teams, and myself and Laura included, right? We raised over $1 million to build out our neighborhood. The bank came in and loaned over $7 million, and we came in with an investor partner of over $1 million in cash to be able to do this kind of deal. So we did not use any of our own money on this. We did not use any of our own money on our first assisted living on Mesa. We raised 1.1 million or so on that from investors. There are so many people that want to invest in this space. If you are talking to real estate people, investor type people, man, they will tell you there is no great deals anymore. The market has shifted. Interest rates are super high. There's nothing in multifamily. There's nothing in the flipping game. There is very little amount of opportunities to invest in. And this right here, this is the next 20 plus years of the best opportunity. We are just at literally the very front of this. The baby boomers just started hitting 85. So for the next 20 something years, they're getting to that space. End of life care and memory care. Man, people are banging down our doors. Not literally, they're probably more just calling, but there are so many people trying to get into our assisted livings and just around the country. The amount of need is so massive. So build yourself an amazing deal by learning the frameworks to raise the money and then go and learn the frameworks for construction, all those kind of things. So most important there is how to build out a massive deal that gets people super excited. Then the second thing you really need is just people, right? People have money. There are lots of people with money, and people that have money are great at making money. If you are great at making money, that doesn't necessarily mean you're great at investing, right? You kind of have to focus. What am I going to focus on? Am I focusing on my 9 to 5 and my corporate ladder, my own business? Am I growing my net worth there and my active income? A lot of times people don't have the bandwidth to make a lot of money on their salary or their business, and then also to master being investors, right? And knowing what to do with that. A lot of times people that have 500 grand sitting in the bank, they are hoping that somebody like you will call them and say, man, I got an awesome deal. I got this assisted living mansion. It's going to make 500 grand a year. We're going to have huge amounts of cash flow and equity, and we're building in a discount, and we're going to help people, and we're going to make a difference in our city. And there's a ton of wait lists around in my city. There are people that have cash that want something from you, right? That is super important. They want to know that here is an opportunity. So I think it's super important that you just change your perspective on this.
So I think for me, the big change was realizing that the deal that we had is the prize. Like, you are the prize and the deal that you have are the prize. I think that initially when we first got started in this, I had it reversed. I thought that the investor, that the person who has the money to fund my deal is the prize. And so I kind of came across as a little needy, I would say, like I really need you to get this deal done. But I think after I reframed my mindset, realizing that like the deal was the prize for the investor, they became more of like, hey, like, choose me as the investor for your deal. And so it kind of, I think it was an important mind shift for myself to have that. I think the first people that we sat down with and pitched this deal with them, we were so nervous because we had never done it before. We were like fumbling through our pro forma and like trying to like describe to them like their return. And again, we fumbled through it. We didn't do great that first time. It was actually probably really bad, to be honest. But the more that we did it, the more investors we met with, we had word tracks, we had different things that we started saying. And then I think that we were confident in knowing that like, hey, like if you want this opportunity, great. If you don't want this opportunity, great. Like we'll find somebody else. So it wasn't like every investor we were meeting with was like, here's our deal. We just would love if you could be on our team. Like it wasn't like that. And I think a lot of times we can come across that way to investors. And so I think having the confidence, knowing that there are plenty of people out there with lots of money who want to invest in something that gives back to the community. I think once I realized that, then we didn't come across needy, and then we were able to find an investor very quickly.
So as far as raising money, right, I think we can just simplify this and really start with the most simplified version of who are you looking for? How do you find people to raise money? And really, in my perspective, there's two different kinds of people, right? There's people you know, and then there's everyone else, right? You know some people, probably thousands of 10,000 people, and then there's the other like 7 billion people in the world that you don't know, right? So let's just start there. Super, super simple. And I would say the people that you know, those are the most important. Most of the time, people that already know you and like you and trust you, those are the people that are willing to invest, able to invest, and honestly, like just waiting for somebody to open their mouth and be bold and be brave and say, you know what, I got this awesome deal over here. Like, let me talk to you about it. And so there's a few of these people that we think are important, and maybe like where you go to meet these people that you already know and where do you go to talk about it. Because I think there's obviously, there's your friends, there's your family. You should be talking about at work, at church, at the gym, at school. You may go to school, maybe your kid's school, but these are all places that you already go. They're already in your normal rhythm. And so I really, from that perspective, think it's pretty simple because you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to add any extra hours to your work week. Like you just go and do you. When you were there hanging out with your buds, when you were there at the gym, when you were there at church and you're mingling and you're talking, all you have to do is just share your story. Here's what I'm doing, right? I am going and we're starting to build an assisted living. We are looking for land. We are whatever it is, fill in the blank. People are excited to talk to you about assisted living.
Yeah, I think that one thing that really helped us kind of engage or capture people was saying the term assisted living mansion. I think that was something that they were like, huh? Like, what'd you say? What are you doing? Because it's a different term. And so, again, I think finding those key phrases or how you word certain things to your friends or whoever else, right? Family, really can captivate them. And I say that word purposely because it really does. When you say assisted living mansion, like they lean in and you can like, their body language tells you like, tell me more. So find those key phrases, I would say for you. For us, hey, use assisted living mansion, try it, see what they say. It will sound weird initially. I remember when we first started saying it, I was like, that sounds so weird. I don't know if I want to say that. But it really does intrigue people. And so that was something that really helped me, was first saying that assisted living mansion and then them responding with like, oh, tell me more. And then it opened the door for me to then share the deal with them.
So we've raised money from lots of people that we've already known. Some of them was Laura's mom's best friend. And it was simply because she posted that we were doing deals. And it was, I don't know, just a couple posts. And then all of a sudden it was like through the works, it was like, oh, now we have a coffee date with, Laura's mom's friend and her husband. And we went and sat down with them and talked about what we were doing. And then we raised like 700 grand or something like that. Like it was that simple.
Yeah.
We've had family invest with us many, many times, over $1 million. And again, like it is because people already know and trust you. If you're a person of integrity and you're a hardworking person and you're an intelligent person, then the people that already know you, they should be like standing up and like, I got some cash. It is sitting in my IRA. I can self-direct it. It's sitting in the bank doing nothing. It's in the stock market and I'm uncertain about this thing. It's in crypto and I don't want it there. Man, if you can come in and say, you know what, we're building this awesome deal out. It's going to be backed by real estate and there's this awesome cash flow component to it. There's amazing opportunity with these things. And I just want to come across that it's not that hard. It's not that scary. At least for us, like.
No, it was scary. Stop. It was scary for me. Okay. It might not be scary for him. I'm going to bring it to the real world here. Like I was not a financial person. I'm still not really a financial person, to be honest. I didn't like talking about money. I didn't like talking about that stuff. So I think that I can relate to you if you feel a little overwhelmed or scared by talking about this. So I think that was a good thing that I was able to lure people in, and that sounds bad, but like lure people in like with my personality and be like, hey, let's be friends. Hey, I have this deal. And then Brett, I was able to kind of like pass him over to Brett and be like, hey, talk to them about the deal. And there came a point where Brett's like, hey, they don't want to talk to me. They don't know me. They know you. They want to hear the deal from you. And so then I was like, oh, okay, well, darn it. I didn't really want to have to do that. I want to close a deal too. And so I can relate in saying that it is hard in the beginning when you don't know what to say, when you don't have the confidence in yourself to know that you know the answers to the questions they're going to have, because they're going to have questions. And so I think it's just kind of, to be completely frank with you, you just got to fumble through it. It's fumbling through it
screw it up.
Yeah, the first handful of times. And then you'll learn and you'll pick yourself back up and you will get better the next time. So I think that's kind of how we learned, was just kind of failing.
So I screwed it up and you have my permission to screw it up. You do not have to get it perfect. All you got to do is think, this is a rough draft. I am not going to get this deal. Maybe you will, but I'm not going to get this deal. And I'm just going to go get it, the first one out of the way. The first one is the worst. The second one's maybe decent. By like the third to fifth one, you're like, man, I'm actually pretty good at this. I can do this. Just go screw it up a couple times. Like, yeah. I just want to encourage you, like, this is not that difficult. It's maybe intimidating, it may be scary, but you're just going to talk about something that you're passionate about. If you are passionate about making a difference, if you're passionate about making money, if you're passionate about helping seniors, and you just have an awesome plan, then just put together an awesome plan. If you don't know how to do that, team up with somebody who can help you put together an awesome deal, and then just go tell the people that already know and love you, right? They want to hear about it. They're excited for it. You'll be super surprised how many people that you think don't have any money, all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I got 300 grand. I'm willing to invest. You're like, what? You have 300 grand? Yeah, it's just under the mattress. It's been sitting there for 20 years because you never said I had a cool deal. Like, speak up. So it's people you know, and then it's usually a lot of times it's one step removed. It's the people that are more of acquaintances, like all of a sudden they're just coming out of the woodwork. So really, I think there's people you know, and then there's people you don't know. And we've raised money from strangers as well too, right? We develop relationships with these people, but a lot of times friends of friends have come and like, hey, you know what? I know Brett. He's doing great things. I know he's getting into assisted living now. And you know what? You should go talk to him. I can vouch for him. He's a smart guy, and he's got all these deals that he's working on. We've had a bunch of different people who all of a sudden, like, I mean, we've been raising money from or investing. They've been investing on our deals for like 8+ years, right? Just lots and lots of money on repeat over and over again. We close out a deal, we move on to something else. So Another great place are investor meetups. These are called like RIAs, right? Real estate investment groups. Man, go there. You want to be in a room with people who have one of two things. They either have deals and they're looking for investors, or they're investors and they're looking for deals, or just a bunch of realtors. But the first two, right? Like you go there and there are people, there are hard money lenders, there are people, private money lenders. I've had so many people come up to me and say, hey, you know what? I really love this niche about assisted living, end of life care. Here's my card. Let's connect. I want to do coffee. I want to hear about your deal. Just go there. It's not that scary. You give up. Everyone stands up and you give like your 30-second thing. Just go and give your 30-second thing. This is who I am. Another really great one is the Chamber of Commerce. Go and get plugged in there. Those are all businesses. A lot of them are small startups. A lot of those people have just raised money. They're in real estate. They're buying buildings. They're renting buildings. They have brick and mortar. Those people there are great connections. They can help connect you if they're not going to be the ones who are going to invest themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of commercial realtors that attend a lot of chamber events. And so the commercial realtors are really connected and involved with a lot of the real estate investors in your area. And so I would highly recommend going to your local chamber, getting involved, going to meetings, starting to meet people and network. I think that's a great resource for you.
So really, I think that you pull people to you. It's not like you're going to go find these investors. It's more like you're going to draw the investors to you. So I drew this kind of little simple picture, but you have these two groups of people. You have the people you know on the left, and you have everyone else, the whole world of strangers on the right. And you want to draw them to you. And we're going to talk about how you draw them to you. Use social media. This is the really important part of what we're going to be talking about today. How do I use social media in order to draw people that already know me to me, or people that have met me and I've talked about my deal and they're like, oh, cool, that's kind of interesting. Okay, well, you're a total stranger, so I'm not about to give you money. But how do you get them to follow you on social and then over the next few weeks or few months, see your journey, see what you're doing, have it become real, and now you become like a real person. You go and take them to coffee and all the stuff, and you say, hey, you know, here's our project, here's what we're doing. So it is so important that you use social media. And honestly, I would say at least 3 times a week. You need to be posting at least 3 times a week on your journey, on your story of how you are raising money. And for some of you, like, no big deal. I post 3 times an hour. And some of you are like, dude, I hate posting on social media. It makes me so uncomfortable. That's the way I used to be. I don't like posting on social media, but I have to do it. It's part of my job. And so literally think of it from that perspective. If your business is, I'm going to build my assisted living and I'm going to run this business, but one of the first hurdles in front of me is I got to get an investor, then this is literally part of your job. And sometimes you love parts of your job and sometimes you don't like part of your job. And that just is real life. So just come at it from the perspective of, you know what, I either love this part or I don't like this part at all. But either way, it's got to get done. So give yourself a KPI. Talk to who's your spouse, who's your partner, who are you doing this journey with, and commit to them. Tell them right now, I'm going to post at least 3 times a week on our commitment here, on our story, on what we are building, on our why and how we're going to help people and how we're going to help our own family and how we're going to make a difference. You got to just go and do it. It's not that complicated. You're not going to have a bunch of people hate on you. It's going to be just fine.
You may have a few people hate on you, but that's just part of it.
They're robots anyways. Don't even worry about them. So here is what you post. Okay, really, you are starting here today, right? And you may have already made a commitment to do this. You may be already working on your project, or you may say, you know what, today's the day. I'm going to draw a line in the sand. Today is day 1. I'm going to commit. So here are some of the things that you can go through and talk about why, right? We have our personal experience, your why. You could literally do a post on this at least 1 time, if not 3. Talk about this with your spouse. Here's what we do. I want to take care of people, right? Like my grandma, the first person that we took care of at our own assisted living was my literal grandma, right? Laura placed her grandma. It was a terrible experience. It's part of her why. So just go through and just say, all right, here's what we're doing. I'm putting it out there to the world, all of my friends and family. I'm making commitment. I'm getting uncomfortable. And I'm saying, you know what? I'm just going to, burn the ships and say, we're doing it. We are starting an assisted living. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to screw it up along the way, but we're making a commitment. And then you go and you just keep moving on with your story, right? And you go secret shopping. You got to get into your market research, right? So hit our free trainings If you want to know what to do, it's in there step by step. So your market research, you are literally going to all the big smelly facilities. You're going to the dinky little RAs. You're showing here's what's out there. You are learning it, and just snap a photo every single time, right? Here is the gross, nasty hallway, right? I've done this myself where it's like this huge long hallway and there was like literally lights falling and like swinging, and it was just a lot of a horror movie. I snapped a photo and I'm like, we got to be able to do better than this. And I got so many comments on it, right? All you got to do is show the good and say, hey, you know what? I'm inspired by this. I'm going to do something like this, and then show the bad. Like there's plenty of bad. Like these grandmas are getting neglected and it's horrible and this building is falling down, and I'm going to build something awesome. Right? And you could do that for weeks or a month or two as you're going and seeing what's out there in your community. And then just share, like, here's my vision. Here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to build this awesome mansion. We have partners all the time that are sharing the photos of our mansion. And they're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to build Brett and Laura's mansion. It's going to look just like this. It's going to have this gorgeous vaulted ceiling. It's these huge bedrooms. It has these fireplaces in each bedroom. It's awesome, and it's custom, and it's BA. And like, if you're partnering with us, right, feel free, use all the stuff, right? But if you're not, hey, you can take a little bit of inspiration from our stuff, but find places and buildings and care that inspires you and show that, and just explain to people, here's what we want to do. It's going to be like this. And then you keep going through your journey, right? We're going and we talk to the city, and you're doing all of your due diligence. You got to talk to planning and zoning and the fire marshal and the health department and the building department, all those kind of things, right? Every single time you go and snap a photo, go and say, like, I'm here at the planning and zoning, right? I just met with this such and such lady. And did you guys know that I'm looking for the right piece of land? It has to be in such and such zoning that I'm going to build an assisted living, right? That's a post right there. And then the next day you go and you snap a photo of yourself in front of the fire truck, right? And you're like, hey, I'm meeting with the fire marshal today. We're like, woo, right? And just like, I'm trying to learn all this kind of stuff, and here's what we're doing. And you just show and you share, because it's super important. When you are attracting investors, whether they're total strangers or friends that maybe aren't following you so often, and you go and they hear about your plan and your vision, and they don't see much like on your page, they're like, oh, I think he was just like speaking out of his butt, right? Like that's just a dream. That's hoo-ha, right? But if you tell them about it and they're excited about it, and then they look you up on the phone and they start following you, and they're like, oh, yeah, look at this. There's like 20 posts here. He's meeting the city. He's looking at land. He's secret shopping. He's doing all these things. This person's serious, right? Like, I see what they're getting after. I see what they're looking at, and it makes sense to me.
I think a lot of this is getting out of your own head. I think initially I didn't want to post anything about, hey, I'm starting an assisted living mansion, because first of all, I wasn't even 100% sure or convinced myself that we were actually going to do it. So I didn't want to tell the world if I wasn't actually going to do it ourselves. So I think that was one thing. I had to believe in the deal and believe in myself and know that we were going to get the deal done before I was able to like actually post it on Facebook. And so, or wherever you're going to post. And so I think it's almost like getting over yourself in a way. Like, don't be so cocky to think that like everybody in the world is watching your social media and it's going to make a huge deal if you post something about it, right? I think it's just like a slow play. You're going to just talk about like, hey, like this is my dream. I've always wanted to do this. And you can post inspirational photos like Brett was saying. But I think a lot of times we think in our own head, like, I don't think people are going to want to see me standing in front of a fire truck. Like, that's kind of lame. I shouldn't post that. Or people aren't going to want to see me going like to planning and zoning. Like, that's super boring. What's just going to be holding holding some papers and then take a snapshot? Yes. That is documenting your journey. It's as simple as that. And so I think we like overanalyze things in our mind. Like it has to be like this like minute reel of like all this action-packed stuff for it to be something that people are going to watch. Like, no, it doesn't have to be Instagram worthy. Like you can just take a picture and post it on Instagram, on Facebook, or wherever you're going to post. And people are going to be intrigued. So I think it's just not overthinking things and just taking action pictures in the moment and literally just pressing that post button. And I'm telling you, you're going to get people who are intrigued and want to invest in your deal.
Yeah, I think like Laura said, right, it doesn't have to be the perfect photo. If you're there at a piece of land or at the fire marshal's office, something like that, and you just can't get the photo right, it doesn't matter. You got to post it anyways. Like I'm telling you, you have to post it. It doesn't matter if your hair doesn't look good, if you're having an off day, I don't give a crap. Just post it. That is your goal. You're making a commitment to post at least 3 times a week. If you want investors to reach out to you, You have to post at least 3 times a week. It's not going to happen in 1 week. It might happen in 3 months. So you better start today. And I would say just really genuinely be yourself. And if you're goofy, then be goofy. And if you're serious, then be serious. But whatever it is, like, you don't have to force anything weird. Just go and document your journey. That's all you're doing. You're just going through the process here step by step, and you have lots of steps. So there you go. You have lots of content. So I think you go and you especially as you're talking to people, right? Like Laura mentioned this earlier, but you try and hook them. You try and pull them in with cool things. So I like saying the word mansion, right? I like actually saying memory care mansion. It's kind of play on words, but people are like, what? It's memory care and a mansion? You do both of them? Like, yeah, we have grandmas with dementia in a BA mansion, right? And they're like, oh, that sounds cool. I'm like, yeah, I know. And you just start throwing in some of these cool hook words and you just start this conversation, right? And really, I think everywhere you go, this is the whole theme here. Everywhere you go, you just work it into the conversation. Just talk to everyone about, here's what we're doing. This is my dream. This is my goal. I may have applicable experience. I may have no experience. I may have family I want to take care of and put in there because this is part of my why. It doesn't matter. Just everywhere you go, just work it into the conversation. So I'll share with you. Here is what I used to say when we were going and raising money to build our neighborhood. I would say, hey, you know what? I'm building a neighborhood of mansions. We bought 8 acres and we're going through raising funds now. We're going to build 4 10,000 square foot mansions and everyone's got their own private room. There's 16 private rooms here. We have a chef, we have a salon, we have a library. We can offer all the same care and amenities that you can get at one of the big smelly facilities, but we do it in this gorgeous custom built home. And if you happen to know anybody who'd be interested in something like this, you know, I'd love to be able to talk to them. And I've never said those exact same words before. Whatever I said, it just comes out and it's some variation of that. So you come up with your own word track and don't make it robotic. It doesn't have to be unnatural, but just share what's real to you, right? You don't have to build a neighborhood of mansions. You could do one. You could do a little deal. You could do a big deal. You should do a big deal. You shouldn't do a little deal. But just go and be genuine yourself and talk about it and work it into the conversation everywhere you go. And honestly, you will be so surprised at how many people come out of the woodwork. They'll comment on your social media. All of a sudden, you'll start getting texts. All of a sudden, you'll start getting coffee dates and like Zoom dates and be like, hey, tell me about what you got going on here, right? Everyone has a parent or a grandparent that has gotten to end of life and has had a bad experience, whether even dying at home or dying in a big smelly facility. It relates to pretty much every single human, right? They know there is a problem. They know big smelly facilities suck. They know baby boomers are here in a massive wave. And what are we going to do about it, right? If you do not know, we are short on beds. Some statistics say a couple 100,000 beds short nationwide, right? And we are building at like 1/3 of the amount that we need. Look at the way permits are going and look at the way the banking situation is. It is hard to make deals work right now for big corporate. If you're going to build a 4-story building with interest rates what they are and tariffs now coming in, it's hard to make those deals work. You can make a mansion work. You can make a 16-bed work. So what I'm trying to say is, nationally speaking, it is not going to shift anytime soon. Even though big corporate and all the REITs and everybody knows that, hey, we are short on these beds, it doesn't pencil. It doesn't math out for a lot of big corporates. So we can come in, be a medium-sized deal. For the next 10 plus years, we are going to be in the sweet spot with a massive opportunity. You just got to get your guts together and get out there and build out a deal and start talking about it. And really, that's my entire encouragement for you today, right? Is just get out there and make yourself uncomfortable and post on this stuff.
You said get your guts together.
Get your guts. Yeah, grab them. Get them up. I don't know, whatever I said. Just get your crap together. Do it.
I love it. Get uncomfortable. That's really what it comes down to is, you know, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And I think that that's kind of one thing that we've learned this whole process is like, man, we've been uncomfortable so many times and put ourselves in situations where we failed and we stumbled through things and we got up and we did it again. And so I think that that's something that I think a lot of people are scared of is to fail. And I think it's so silly because that's really the only way you can learn. And so don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to stumble over your words. Don't be afraid to say the wrong things. Like, get your guts together because you know what? It might happen.
Don't matter. So that's what we have for you this fine evening. I will have a few announcements, then we'll take some questions here so anybody can throw in questions as we got. But as I said earlier, we do this every single month, And next month, June 5th, we're going to be here live on my YouTube channel. We're talking about building new construction. So we have our mansions done. I'm happy to share all the photos and show you what everything looks like. I want to show you the numbers. I want to show you the steps, how you can build an awesome, amazing deal.
We also have a free foundations training. This is everything that Brett and I wish that we would have learned when we were first starting our journey. And so we have that on our Facebook page, or you can visit assistedlivingmansion.com to check that out. But again, we do have a Facebook group. It's called Assisted Living Mansion. So check that out on Facebook. Just search that. It's a group of a bunch of individuals who are also starting their own assisted living mansion, or who want to start, or who are just getting started in the journey. So check that out. Join that Facebook group. We also have a couple of podcasts that we do. Brett and I do a personal one that's called The Donkey and the Bee. We talk about marriage, entrepreneurship, and finances. We talk about a lot of fun things on that. So check that out. And then Brett also has his own podcast. It's called Assisted Living Investing. So just search that in Spotify or Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting outlet. You will find that. So check that out as well.
Fantastic. That is all the announcements.
Perfect. Well, we have a few questions, so stick around. I wanted to go over these questions. So I first wanted to shout out Miriam Estrada. She said she's in construction with her first facility. Awesome. I'm super excited, Miriam. I don't know where you're located, but wherever you're located, we're excited for you. Let's see. The first question we had was, can you talk about specific terms and rates from investors?
Specific terms and rates. So it really depends on, are you raising on debt or are you raising on equity? And I have been a big proponent of SBA for this kind of deal. So if you're raising money and you're doing an SBA type of loan, or really any kind of loan, you need down payment funds, right? So therefore, you really can't go and raise money on debt and then have debt as a second position to your debt. You need capital injection, right? You need a down payment funds. So that would be equity. And so from that position, it's less about, what is the interest rate you're going to offer. It's more about what is the equity stake that they would get in the businesses. We have a real estate business, you have an operations company business. And really, I think investors are excited around 17 to 20. That gets people really excited as far as a cash on cash return. So you have to go and you build out your pro forma and know all your numbers and put all that thing in. And like, hey, if you're raising, $300,000 and you're going to have a, such and such deal, then at the end of the day, it would spit off this much money based on the 300. Term wise, I think most investors are looking for a kind of medium term deal, right? They don't want a year, right? That's if they wanted to do flipping deals, they would do something like that. Right. But if they're looking to invest in a business, especially something that's going to build real estate and build equity through real estate, then that's several years. So I think usually about probably 5 to 10 years is what I tell potential investors. Hey, we're going to go build this. We're going to get stabilized. We're going to grow our wealth. It's going to take at least 4 or 5 years. And then when the market's right, over the next 5 years, we'll look to exit. We either go and we can sell the business and you get paid out that time, or we can have a refinance event. We are building at a discount and we'll have equity in the real estate. I'll be able to refinance out my loan. I especially like this because I'll do SBA and it's higher, but I can go in with more leverage, need less investor capital, and then go refinance a few years later. And that allows me to have that equity to be able to pay off investors and potentially keep the deal. That's what Laura and I did on Mesa. We are 100% owners of that. We had investors in there. We refinanced and used that capital to pay them off.
If you didn't understand anything we just said, it's okay. I just wanted to say it's totally okay. Because as you're talking, I'm like, oh man, that might sound like a lot to people. So you can always rewatch the video and replay that and just kind of let it soak in. Because I think if you haven't heard those terms before, that might be overwhelming. But re-listen to it. All right, next question is, I know you don't suggest buying existing facilities, but if you were to buy one, what are the top 3 things you would look for?
I don't I don't say not to do it. Actually, one of our teams are looking at buying 2 16 beds that was just built a couple years ago. And so I just think you got to do the right size deal for you. And that doesn't mean you have to build new construction. I just think it needs to math out in pencil. And so what would I look for in buying an existing facility? Is that the question?
Correct.
Numbers, first and foremost, right? I think there's a couple different considerations when you're looking at numbers here. It is, what is it currently, right? If it's an active assisted living business, what does that look like? What are those numbers right there? And are you buying a deal because it is a great business, or are you buying a deal because it has a value add play? Meaning either the real estate needs to be upgraded so you can raise rents and then make more profit, or they have a nice building, but they have terrible marketing, terrible management, and they can't fill their beds, or something's going on poorly. They have low income because they have high vacancy, and you want to go and solve that problem. I think that I want to go and look for a deal. I want to solve a problem. I would much rather solve a marketing problem. That's one of the assisted livings that our teams are actually looking at now. Very low occupancy. You go on big corporates' websites, they're crap, man.
It's
like
bad.
It's all stock photos. It's nasty. It is no wonder why they can't get tours and they can't make sales, and their vacancy is high, and their income is low, and they're making no money. So you're going to go and you're going to ask for, the P&Ls, and it's going to show like, oh, we make $12,000 a month. It's like, bro, you have 32 beds. Why are you making $12,000 a month, right? You can make your offer based on what the cash flow is. And so I would look for a deal in that way that you know how to solve, and you know what your skill sets are, right? If you're plugged in the community and you're great at marketing, you're like, man, I can get so many referrals. I can fill these beds great. I can manage this staff. A lot of times with big facilities or small boxes, which is a term I have for like a couple 16 beds that kind of look like a facility, but they're just smaller. A lot of times those are corporate run. They have some kind of passive ownership that just like they're away out of state, stuff like that. They'll let those things go. It is not an easy business that we're in. I really believe that you have to be close and you have to build your team. This is like Laura's core job, is building the people on our team and investing in them, and they do all the work. But they're awesome and they're consistent, and it's because she built her team. And so if you are passive in this and you're across the country, man, you're gonna have terrible people. All your good people are gonna quit. They're gonna get chased off, and you're gonna have people that don't give a crap, and then it's a domino effect from there. So I would just look for a good deal. And I think the numbers are the most important. I'd say 95% of them are not going to be a deal. They're just not going to pencil, especially with interest rates the way they are right now.
Another question, looking for funding for my second home. Not sure how to structure the deal. I have a SBA on the first one.
So I would talk to your SBA lender or 5 other SBA lenders and first ask this question, and maybe you can throw it in the chat, is what is your SBA debt on there? Because you can most likely go up to 5 million, right? Meaning you can go and get another loan with the SBA, because you can only have one SBA loan at a time. So can you add to that like an expansion? And that would be a great question for your SBA lender. Can you go and buy another $2 million assisted living, right? Or build an assisted living, or it kind of depends on your situation with that loan. But if you cannot, then it kind of handcuffs you a little bit, because you can really only have one SBA loan at a time. So you need to find out, can you use that as an expansion? Are you in the same market? Those kind of questions.
Next one is, I have a potential investor / home builder that wants to do a 50-50 deal with me on the real estate. He wants to have some profit sharing equity on the business side. What would you recommend to offer?
Why would you want to do the deal with him?
Yeah, that was my first thing. Yeah.
Yeah. In my experience, I don't see that as a value asset. Let's see. People who are valuable to the team, there's 3 people on the team. You have the person who's putting the deal together, maybe the real estate person. You have the medical person. Sometimes they are really important and you need them to get the loan. Sometimes you can just hire that person, or you have some applicable medical experience with not necessarily needed on the team. You can just hire that person. The third is the money person. There's no number 4 of the builder. I don't think that is a key component to the team. I think you're wasting equity in that position. You can hire a builder, right? No big deal. This person may do a great job, may not do a great job, but either way, you're stuck with them for the long term. And why, right? Just go partner with someone to bring in the money and give them an equity position and hire your builder. I would recommend that. I don't think I can give you any advice on you should have X or Y percentage. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it sounds to me like the question, and Lindsay, this is not to like hearken you at all. It sounds like you feel like the investor is the prize and you're trying to just find the money to get the deal done. But I just really want you to know that your deal and you are the prize. And I think that this question is saying that you're giving up too much equity. It's almost like when you watch Shark Tank and like they give away like half of their company for like $100,000, and it's like, why did you do that? So don't do that. You are the prize. Your deal is the prize. So I know I'm saying that a lot. I just really want to reiterate that for all of you to know. Don't give away so much when you're the one they should be knocking at the door. Yeah. So, next question and last question, actually. Oh, never mind. That was it. Sorry. I thought there was one more.
All right.
Yeah, never mind. That was not a question. It was a statement.
Cool. Well, I'm so glad you all with us. Come back again next month. Did we throw in anything in the chat there for next month time or anything?
No, we did not. We talked about it on the slide.
Okay, fantastic.
Wait, go back to it. What is the day? Sorry. You need to remind me what the day is. June 5th?
Yeah,
Aha! June 5th at 6:30. That's what it is.
June 5th. We're talking building new construction. So we're going to simplify it for you so it's not scary.
Awesome. Well, it was so awesome having you guys here. I hope you got some gold nuggets information. I hope you feel confident to talk to some people, talk to investors, talk to friends, talk to family. Just say assisted living mansion and see how they respond. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised.
Awesome. All right. Well, have a wonderful evening. I'll see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.